It appears that every possible noise outside my window has decided to occur right now. We'll let the train pass. Hi, I'm Tory, holistic nutritionist, using gentle nutrition, mindfulness, movement, and positive psychology to love myself and my people. And today is Laboratory Tuesday, and today we are talking about mental chatter and how we can use this simple analogy to help us decide what thoughts get to stay and what thoughts need to go. So we're going to back all the way up, and we're going to first acknowledge that everything that we ingest goes into the body. It's metabolized. It makes us feel a certain way, and then how we feel in our body affects how we show up in the world. So that was a big mouthful, so let me give you a really literal example. So with food. So I eat a cupcake. It goes into my body. I metabolize it, and then it gives me a stomach ache, and I feel kind of sluggish and fuzzy-brained, and I don't show up that well for my conference in the afternoon, and I really bomb my 5K, all right? Or I eat some delicious avocado chocolate chia pudding. It goes in my body, it's metabolized. It gives me so much mental clarity and energy that I rock my conference in the afternoon and I kick ass at my 5K. So that formula makes a lot of sense for us, right? We understand food. We understand that if we put in crap, we feel like crap, and then we can't show up as our best selves. And we understand that if we eat the nourishing stuff, we feel nourished, and then we can show up as our best selves. That's the simple part. So now the trick is, as a holistic nutritionist, to teach you to look at your life holistically, as a whole, so that everything you ingest gets the same standard of excellence. So today we're going to be talking about self-talk, but I want to give you a couple other examples so you can understand how this formula relates to things outside of food. So let's talk about traumas. So say something traumatic happens in your life, a relative dies. You internalize that experience, you metabolize it, and then it absolutely changes your reality moving forward, right? You might have a hard time connecting to people. You might have a fear of loss. That trauma is metabolized by you and becomes a part of your reality moving forward. And maybe let's talk about something a little more positive. Maybe you have a friend who gives you an amazing pep talk. You've had a really rough week, and then you hang out with a positive, vivacious friend who gives you a pep talk that just totally kicks you into gear. You take in those words, you metabolize them, and then they affect your reality moving forward. So, in terms of self-talk, your body is insanely miraculous, right? Without you consciously interjecting, your trillions of cells, you have trillions of cells within your body, and they are all in specific communication to keep you alive, right? It's not like you think, okay, breathe in and breathe out, or you don't tell your heart to pump. All of these things are happening on their own because our cells are so brilliant without us consciously interjecting. So now, what if we consciously gave them support, right? So why I even got into holistic nutrition and mindset and all of that jazz is because I saw this individual named Dr. Joe Dispenza speak. I was at a meditation retreat, and he spoke at a little conference that was happening, and I will super quickly go through his story, but essentially he was hit by a truck while running a marathon. He shattered his spine, and he was put in a full body cast. He had the choice of either having a surgery that would put a metal cage around his spine, which he did not want to do, or be in a full body cast and just hope that he healed. So he chose the body cast, and he thought, my body is so brilliant without me interjecting. What if I learned how to piece back the spine, and every day I concentrated and I imagined the little tiny pieces healing themselves exactly as I want them to be. Long story short, he did it. He's amazing. He can still be a yogi. This accident did not hurt his body moving forward like all the doctors told him it would. So that is the same for us with self-talk. So imagine if my body is trying to be healthy, trying to be energetic, but all day I'm telling my cells, you're fat, you're tired, you're sick. My cells are confused in my body. I want to support them. I want to be feeding them nutritious thought food. So that brings me to my first point. We're going to start calling our thoughts thought food because they fuel our body or they hurt our body, same as our food choices. So our thoughts are now thought food, which raises the stake a little bit, and I hope inspires you to have a bit more integrity with your thoughts. 2, we're gonna track our thoughts just like we would track our food. So when clients come to me and they say, I don't understand why I feel so crappy, we need to first have awareness around what they're actually ingesting so we know what to tweak. So with their food, they start keeping a food journal. And for 2 weeks, I have them write down everything that they eat, what time they ate them, and then how it made them feel. And they do this without judgment. It's not like, I am a piece of crap, I ate an Oreo. It's just, ate an Oreo, 9 a.m., an hour later, I felt tired. That's it. Later, we can notice patterns and we can go, okay, every time you eat chickpeas, you get really gassy. Maybe let's take out the chickpeas. And we're gonna do the same with your thoughts. So it's a little bit more vague, right? It's not like there's a definitive moment where a thought happens. Many of our thoughts are habitual, but hopefully having to write them down will allow you to slow down and start to notice at least the majority of your thoughts. So for your thought journal, you're gonna write down, I was doing this thought popped up, and it made me feel this. And that's all you do for 2 weeks. And then you're gonna start to notice patterns. You're gonna notice patterns like, I opened Instagram and I suddenly got incredibly anxious. And then so maybe when you realize that every time you open Instagram you get really anxious, you can maybe let go of Instagram like you did the chickpeas, etc. So 3, next you're gonna say, once you've already established your thought food journal, you're gonna start looking a little bit deeper and you're gonna say, okay, what am I actually hungry for? So I'm gonna use the food analogy again. So an example, many times when I am working and I want to opt out of working because I've hit some sort of self-limiting belief, or I'm bored, or I'm scared, I will think, I'm gonna go eat chocolate. Do I really want chocolate? Probably not. Is chocolate gonna make me feel any better? Probably not. But I know that that's my pattern because I've had to look at this for so many years. So now I have the opportunity, knowing my patterns, because I've kept the food journal for so long, knowing my patterns, I can say, well, what am I actually hungry for? What am I trying to fill with the chocolate? And so for me, I can go, well, I'm a little anxious. I am struggling with an idea that maybe I don't think it's good enough, right? Basically, I'm uncomfortable and I'm trying to find comfort in chocolate. And we do the same thing with our thoughts. So this one's, again, a bit more vague, harder to understand, but you guys are brilliant. I know you'll get this. So say I'm at work and every time my boss walks by, I fill with rage and I go, oh my God, I hate her perfect body, I hate that laugh. Let's look at what you're actually feeding with that anger. Is it really that you hate her and you hate her body and you hate her laugh? Because why do you care, right? She's a human over there, you're a human over here. Choose to be angry at something that matters. But really, when we look and we investigate, there's probably something deeper. So maybe it's you hate her laugh and you hate her body because you're miserable over here and you're angry that she has lost 50 pounds this year because she walked for 30 minutes at lunch every day. And you're actually pissed because you just say, oh, it's only 30 minutes at lunch. Well, how come I don't have the willpower to do that? Well, so now we can be honest. And with that honesty, we can actually do something with it productive, right? Not productive to hate her from afar and sit in your own stink bubble. Productive to see the honest truth, although it might be painful, because then we can actually do something with it. And then the next step would be to make an empowered choice with that information. So just like not eating the chickpeas anymore and not going on Instagram anymore, we could instead, every time we see our boss, we could choose something else. Sorry, a little pop up there. We could choose something else. And maybe that choice, that empowered choice could be, I'm gonna set my alarm so every lunchtime I go walk for 30 minutes, or maybe even 10 minutes, anything to get you from here to there so you can relieve yourself of that pain. So just to recap, we're gonna start calling our thoughts thought food. We're gonna raise the stakes. We're gonna understand that what we think is actually communicating with ourselves and informing them how to operate within our body. 2, we're gonna find awareness and keep a thought journal so we can notice patterns. 3, we're gonna ask, what am I actually hungry for? What am I fueling with this feeling? 4, we're gonna make an empowered choice. And then 5, we're gonna repeat this infinite times until we die because we are humans and that's what we do. All of this is just leading us to a life that's filled with more health, more happiness, and more surrender, right? And it's worth going through this cycle over and over and over, I promise. So that is it for this week's Laboratory Tuesdays. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below or send me a note at tory@torydoobie.com. And if you have any suggestions for what next week's Laboratory Tuesdays should be, please let me know because I would love to hear. Happiest week and chat with you soon.